and welcome to the Soul Seekers collab channel. My name is Allorah Rayne, and I am one of the administrators of this channel. Also one of the co-founders along with Aussie90. And basically, I wanted to do an intro video this week along with the host, just to let you guys know who I am, what I do for the channel, my soul origins, and yeah. So basically, like I said, I'm one of the administrators of the channel and co-founders. And I guess the goal, or my goal for this channel, was to offer a platform for different soul origins to come together and discuss all kinds of topics, especially anything from everyday topics to magical, pagan, Wiccan, witch, any of those topics as well, and kind of see, how things are approached from a soul perspective or a soul level. So by now you guys have all been introduced to all of the hosts, and I am so grateful for their participation in this channel, and I really believe in this project as a whole. I think we've done a good job of bringing you guys some very different soul groups and some very different perspectives, and each week they'll be answering questions and broaching topics from their particular soul origins. And one thing I want to tell you guys as well is we have a page on Facebook, but I encourage everybody who watches the Soul Seekers Collab channel to go to that page. If you have a question or a topic idea or anything like that, right now, the first couple of weeks, Aussie and I have come up with the topics for the host, but we eventually will run out of, ideas and things to talk about. So, yeah, so go there, post your topics. You can also email us, and all those links, like I said, will be below. So just if you want to get a hold of the host or Aussie or I, just get a hold of us in one of the ways listed below. We will either get back to you, or we will take your topic or question and pose it to the host to address that specific week. Now, as administrators, Aussie and I will not be posting videos weekly. Basically, how we're going to do this is if our hosts have an emergent situation where they cannot post, we will fill in for them as subs. But if there is a topic where we feel that we can offer a unique perspective or feel very passionate about that we want to answer this from our perspective, then we'll drop a video in on the weekends every now and then and things like that. We're certainly not going to be appearing on this channel a ton, but you will see us from time to time. Now, as for the introduction part, many of you know that I am a mystic elemental, which basically means I come from the elemental and wise one realms. When I was younger, I was a lot more elemental. I have a very big temper, which I have worked pretty hard to get under control. I lack tact. I don't have, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of tact, and it's gotten me in trouble quite a bit growing up and even in adulthood, because I tend to open my mouth well, some would say before I think, but it's not that I don't think, it's just that sometimes I can be too forward or too bold with the things I'm saying, and so I've worked very hard to temper that. Elementals are known for being practical jokers, and this was true when I was younger. I was always joking, and my elemental side I get from my father, and to this day, I mean, he plays practical jokes left and right, and so that was a very big part of my childhood. Elementals are also known for taking care of the earth and things like that. In my house growing up, we always recycled, and we always, we were always taking care of the yard and planting flowers and stuff like that. Now, for me personally, because I had a heart condition, I wasn't, and we and we lived in a place where there was high humidity and heat in the summer and spring. And so I wasn't allowed to go play outside as much as I probably would have liked. Um, I would basically go out in the evenings with my dad and plant flowers and things like that. And so, yeah, so as far as like connection to the earth, I'm working on that. I don't have it's probably the hardest element for me, but I have theories as to why this is. Um, and I think that my soul chose to have the heart condition that I have for a couple different reasons, but I think one of them is because my elemental side wanted to see what it would be like to have that earth connection taken away, to see if I could get back there, if I could go through a hard transition to get back to the earth itself. And I'm working on that. That has affected my path in that I'm very much involved with herbs, both medicinal and magical. I'm not an herbalist. I didn't go to school for it, but it's something very natural for me to do. Um, I use herbs all the time, and I probably have about 50 right now. And I use them in incense. I use them in ritual. I use them in everything. I'm less attracted to crystals, but I am starting to try to connect with those. I've been doing meditations with crystals and looking into crystal healing, because I feel like one of my purposes here in this body, on this plane, in this point in time, is to teach others how to heal themselves with the earth. And so that is where the crystals and the herbal medicines come in. And then when I address my wise one side, I can be I am very solitary. I need my quiet time. I don't enjoy you. I can be social, and when I was younger, because elementals are very social. And so when I was younger, up to the time that I was probably about 23, 23, 24, no, not probably about 23. I was always out at bars and at clubs and house parties and things like that. And now, as I've gotten older, I have more and more grown more introverted, and I like my alone time. I don't like large crowds. So, anyways, up until about the age of 23, I had no real problems going into bars and clubs and things like that. I would get anxiety when I was in there, and I didn't realize what was happening at the time. But again, that was me picking up energies all around me. And so to do that, to get rid of that, I would drink alcohol. Now, I've never been addicted to alcohol, but in social situations, for me to function, I would need a substance, or else I would be too, while I was in there. So anyways, so my wise one side, like I said, I can be very solitary. I'm very reclusive. I have some very strong intuitive abilities. As a witch, I know I have been a witch before, somewhere along the line. And for me, when I practice, it's like recalling things I already know. I very much know my personal power and what I am capable of in my practice. And so that can be, it's empowering, but it can also be detrimental. I know that this comes from my mother's side. I have done readings for her, and every time I do a reading for her, things come up about being a seer and in fact, one of the things that came up was basically she was someone who helped the deceased cross over and accept that they were dead, or that they were in a spirit realm, after they had passed on. So I know that a large majority of the wise one traits that I have come from my mother's side, but then there's also down the line on my dad's side, my I believe she was my great grandmother, was directly off the boat from Spain, and they were from a place called Valencia. And yeah, so although I'm only a quarter Spanish, I do have some very strong ties and pulls to Hispanic culture, Hispanic witchcraft, things like that. No, I'm not, you know, I'm not deeply rooted in it at this point, but as a wise one, I tend to pull from, and this is a wise one trait, I tend to pull from my personal history and heritage very much so to connect to my magical side. And so um, that's basically how both of my sides have affected my practice. Now, I can and I have connected to the Fae. As you can see, I'm kind of a Fae nut when it comes to art and using, or not using, but um, asking for assistance from the Fae. I have done that on the elemental side, and on the wise one side, it's pretty much like I said. I feel like I've only been practicing for almost 4 years now, and I have had several people say to me or ask me, "How is it that you have only been practicing this long and you have so much information? You know, you seem like you've been practicing for a decade." And I actually think that that has to do with the fact that I am part wise one, because a lot of the knowledge that I have, yes, I go to classes and I learn from other people and things like that. But on a deeper level, the way that I can manifest things, and the way that that instinctively know what herbs to use with what, and what, how to, I can write you a spell in 5 minutes, depending on whatever intent you want it to be. And I think those things are from past life recalling, I guess you would say. They feel like memories, like I've known these things forever, and I'm just putting them back into practice, not necessarily learning my craft. It's that the craft has always been in my mind, and I just, the past 4 years, I've just started, I've just accessed it. And I am still learning, and I'm not saying that I know everything or anything like that. I'm just saying that a lot of my practice and a lot of what I do seems to come from memories that I have no idea how I know, I just do. Um, and so, as far as this is affecting my path, I think that spiritually, doing soul origin research in general and finding out my soul origins has given me a very well-rounded and broad perspective. Um, and although I am a witch and I very much hold deity into my practice and things like that, I can understand how other souls can be pantheists, can be different things. And but for me personally, it's just given me a better understanding of who I am, why I am the way I am, and what my purpose is on this planet. And like I said, I fully believe that one of my purposes here is to teach other people to heal with earth medicines, or how to heal themselves with earth medicines. And then I think the flip side to that, from my other heritage, which would be my wise one heritage, is to basically teach people not only about the craft and their magical practice, but also about the personal power that everyone holds and how to put that into practice. So I hope you guys have enjoyed my intro, and I know this was a little bit long, but hopefully you didn't get too bored. Thank you guys for watching the Soul Seekers collab channel, and I will drop by every now and then when the topic is appropriate. I hope you guys keep watching, and I will see you when I see you.